Fearless Fundraisers, I'm Don Lego. It's time to buckle up. It's a new episode of Raise Nation Radio, the one and only podcast made to inspire fundraisers like you to continue making impact in our communities and building better tomorrows and exchanging ideas. So whether you're a trailblazer or seasoned pro, you'll pick up the trends that transform your fundraising. And together we'll dive into lively conversations and chat with industry-leading fundraisers and thought leaders to explore hot button issues and innovative ideas. So stay with us for the next 30 minutes while we inspire you to embrace the future of fundraising. Well, Raise Nation, welcome back. We're so excited to connect with you again. I love this channel. I love the fact that you've made this channel so popular. If you are new to the show, you have some catch up to do. We're cresting just about 150 episodes. So hopefully you can check them all out. But this episode is going to be pretty special. One of my besties here in the nonprofit space who is just the poster child for storytelling, I think is maybe a good way to put it. But we're going to chat into some conversation that you're really going to want to take notes on or play this podcast episode over and over again. You know who I'm referring to. Familiar face, very respected, always cheerful. It is Kiersten Hill, who is the Director of Nonprofit Solutions at Firespring. We've gotten to speak to Kiersten before on our webinar, now on the podcast, and she's joining us at the Raise conference coming up in September in Nashville. I can't wait to just line dance and do all the things with Kiersten, but so happy to welcome her to the show. Hi, Kiersten. How are you?
Hi, Dawn. I am doing really well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be with you today.
Oh, it's always such a pleasure. I think the whole nonprofit sector knows you, but we might have one or two that knows the name, but just not exactly sure what you do, and what you do at Firespring. So, do you want to just do the introduction, say hello to our audience, share just your work in the nonprofit space, and a little bit about Firespring and whatever else you want to share?
All right, sounds great. Well, a little bit about me. I have been at Firespring about 3.5 years, but I came to Firespring because I was a client first. I
Ah,
have spent most of my career in nonprofit management and fundraising. So, most recently, I was the director of development at the Lincoln Children's Zoo. And then for a few years before that, I ran the Big Brothers Big Sisters affiliate in Lincoln as the executive director. And for 10 years before that, I was the executive director of a statewide organization called Give Nebraska that does workplace giving fundraising for agencies that don't get United Way funding. So I've spent most of my career doing exactly what I'm guessing most of your audience is doing on a daily basis, and that's leading nonprofits and sort of mission driven work. But I had the opportunity to come over here to Firespring, and it has been such a great opportunity for me to be able to interact on such a larger scale with nonprofits literally around the world at this point. So, Firespring is a for profit organization, but we're the first certified B Corporation in the state of Nebraska. Which means that as a company, we are for profit, but we're certified for public benefit. So we can take into account the impact of our business decisions on things we really care about. So things like our community, causes we care about, the environment. We can take those things into account when we're making business decisions. And we
interesting.
express, yeah, it's a super interesting designation there. I think right now we're maybe up to 12 or 15 companies in Nebraska.
That's it. Huh.
There are several thousand
Elite.
around the world, yeah, that are certified B. But it's a process you have to go through, and then you have to recertify on a regular basis. But it really is a part of who we are. It's a part of our ethos to give back to the community. But part of the way that we do that is through in-kind product and service donations. We donate cash to charitable organizations as well. 1%, it actually in excess of 1% of our top line revenue gets donated every year to nonprofit organizations. And then we also donate 3% of our employee workforce. So every full-time employee at Firespring gets 8 hours every single month to volunteer for the nonprofit and charitable organizations of our choice. And so that equates to 3% of our employee base. And we really do use it. We track it on a quarterly basis, how many volunteer hours we've done as a company. And it's really interesting. So that's kind of who we are, and a little bit about, how we're made up. But what we do is we help organizations to market themselves. So we're a full service marketing agency. We are most known in the nonprofit space for our nonprofit website tool. So we have a great nonprofit website tool, which is how part of the reason I was a client before. I had Firespring websites the last three nonprofits I ran. And then let's see, in addition to that, we do printing. So we're a full service printer and we do direct mail. And then in between all of that, we squish marketing services. So
Oh,
that's
that's
the
all.
that's the technical term. We squish it in there.
Right. That's the cream in the middle of the
It-
Oreo cookie, right? You
exactly,
just squish it right
exactly. We
in.
just squish it right in, and that is things like strategy and messaging and logo and brand development and all of those things. So it really is a comprehensive turnkey solution where you can work with experts and strategists who know and understand nonprofits because it's a huge percentage of the clients that we work with. So it's like I say, for me personally, coming to Firespring has just been such a great fit all the way around, and I love talking to people about how we can solve problems that nonprofits face.
Yeah, I know you love talking about it. I've had the pleasure of speaking to you. There's such passion behind and purpose behind, what you do. And I love the role for you because instead of supporting a single mission, you're now supporting so many wonderful, great missions and helping them grow and build better tomorrows. And we need marketing right now. I
Yeah.
think that
Oh,
we need
yes.
in the nonprofit sector to run our organizations like for-profit companies, and marketing and packaging and storytelling are a big part of that equation. Now, you're story brand
Story
certified,
brand
or
certified. Yeah.
yeah, let's talk
Yes.
about that.
So sure. Yeah, there is a gentleman by the name of Donald Miller who has written a series of business related books. So he's written a book called Business Made Simple. Building a story brand is kind of the hallmark of his works. And then he has Marketing Made Simple, Marketer on a Mission, Hero on a Mission. He's got all of these great business books. And when I first started at Firespring, they said, we need somebody to get Story Brand certified. And so I was lucky enough that I was the person who got to go through the certification program. And it has really changed the way that I personally think about how nonprofits market. And so it's a 7-part storytelling framework. And then you actually funnel
Seven
it.
parts.
It's 7 parts. You identify these 7 pieces, and then it's almost like a Mad Lib where you can put it into this brand script and it helps you to clarify how you talk about your organization so that you're clear and concise and that you're really targeting your messages to your audience. I think that's the big difference with story brand and any other storytelling or really even marketing approach out there is that it approaches things from the standpoint of who is our audience and what do they need to know and care about in order to engage with us.
And you
And
need to be concise with that, right?
yes, yeah, exactly. When someone asks you, "What do you do?" If you start with, "Well, our organization was started in 1879, and we have 52 different programs," and at that point, they've tuned out, right? It's not connecting with them, and so we think about the work that we do in terms of how do we solve the problem, what solution do we provide, and what's the result that happens because of that. And then we're really able to meet the people where they're at and act as the guide through their story so that we can bring them into our story. And the whole thing is just it's I think it's revolutionary for how we talk about ourselves. And so often nonprofits get so focused on all the great things that they do because what nonprofits do is amazing.
Right. And
It
there's
literally
passion behind it. They
yes,
were typically
absolutely.
started their nonprofit because of that passion. It's hard not to feel so much joy about it and want
Yes.
to share, but we have to remember our audience and that we need something from that audience member, and it needs to be about them, especially if we're going to ask them for something, right?
Yes.
So
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It really means that we have to connect with our audience. We've got to bring them into the story and And instead of just sort of being like, "Blah, here's all the stuff that we do, and blah, we have, all these programs and all this and blah, blah, blah." It's, here is how you can be a part of the story. Here's how we change lives, and we want you to be a part of it. And I think it's just a really novel approach, and one that I like to help nonprofits incorporate into the work that they do, because I think it really changes the game.
Now, that all equates into their digital footprint, right? It's not
Yes.
just talking about the story, verbally when you meet someone on the street, what do you do? Or you're, in a new board meeting, or you're with new high profile donors, right? It's also your digital footprint. And that really equates to your package, your website. That's what I'm referring to, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who
Absolutely.
doesn't go to somebody's website to learn more about the organization? It's your first go to.
Oh, yeah.
So, can I ask you a hard question?
Sure.
How should or how does a nonprofit website differ from any old website, right? Like, and what's Firespring's
Yeah.
coaching there? Like,
Well,
what
I
makes it different from a for-profit website?
So I think well, first of all, I think they're completely different, which is why I have always liked Firespring's approach, because it's specific to nonprofits. We're not trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. We're designing websites that are designed for nonprofits. So part of what I think is different about it is that there are multiple audiences, because your person coming to your visitors coming to your website might be donors who have a very specific thing that they're looking for. It might be a community member looking for information about your cause. Or it could be a volunteer who wants to come and learn how to engage with you as a volunteer. Or it could be that it's a client who's looking for service. Well, those are four very
Yeah.
distinct needs and very distinct audiences.
How do you
And
structure
so
that website for sure? Yeah.
exactly. So you have to really be intentional about structuring the website so that your website visitor can find the information that they're looking for easily, and that they can access it, and that they can really, engage with your site in a way that is meaningful to them without having to dig through, layers of
Hmm.
of other stuff. And if everything that's on your website is just, here's the programs, here's who we are, here's what we do, here's, how we operate, then you're not meeting the donor with what they're coming to look for. And so
Hmm.
there really is a strategy behind putting together your navigation and all of those things. And then in addition to that, you have to try and set up donation tools, right? So you have to be able to take donations and complete those donations. You need to probably talk about plan giving. You need to do recurring donations, monthly contributions. So there's a lot that goes into a nonprofit website that is vastly different from
Hmm.
what we put together for small or large businesses.
And if you're starting out, probably call Firespring to avoid a lot of mistakes and get it right from the beginning.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
it's
it's a
really
great
multi-purpose.
tool.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, e-commerce. Yeah, we're trying to sell stuff. And you really have vastly different audiences that you have to try to engage in, like, what, 3 seconds, right? It's
Yeah. Well,
crazy.
you've got about 8 seconds on a
Eight.
website.
Oh.
Yeah, if it's I mean, a very cushiony 8 seconds. Like, yeah, as I roll my eyes. No, but if you're scrolling social media, it's 3 seconds. If you're on a website, they say you have about 8 seconds. But I mean,
Hmm.
that's still nothing, right?
It's
There's
nothing.
there's
No.
just no amount of time. So you have to be able to capture people's attention right away and engage them as quickly as you
Yeah.
can with information that is meaningful to them.
Yeah. And multiple audiences, making it meaningful for multiple audiences.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you about the social media, because oh my gosh, it's all around us in so many
Yeah.
different channels and formats, and that alone is crazy to keep up. Like, what do I do on, like, it's not cookie cutter. What I'm doing on Facebook is not what I'm going to be doing on TikTok or LinkedIn or
Mhm.
Snap or whatever channels that you're on. But because there's so many channels and formats and new media, multimedia, and is the website still important?
Oh, absolutely.
It
And
is.
and I get that question a lot.
Okay.
And so here's how I describe it. There was actually an article ages ago in a magazine. I can't remember if it was like Forbes or a tech magazine, whatever it was, but the title of the article was "Don't Build Your Home on Rented Land."
Oh, wait. I need to digest that.
Yeah.
Don't build your home on rented land. Okay, explain that to me.
So, if all you have is a Facebook page, for instance,
Hmm.
Facebook can change the algorithms at any time they want.
Oh, good point.
They can remove audience members if they don't think, they're
You have no
legitimate audience
control.
followers, right? You have no control. They can suddenly decide that your content isn't valuable to people and stop delivering your organic posts, right? So you have very, very little control over social media. There are things that you can do with good strategy and those kinds of things to best the algorithms to maximize social media, but you don't want to build your whole digital foundation, your whole digital footprint on a platform that you can't control. So
Yeah.
ideally, you have a website that is set up in order to complement your social media. So you can post part of a story about a client that you have served on Facebook, but direct people to your website to finish the story. And then when they're on your website, you can direct them to donate or to volunteer, right? You can have a call to action on your website that you're directing them. It's part of your social media approach, but it really stands alone, and it's something that you can control the content and the delivery.
Yeah, I also think the website is where you build trust.
Oh, absolutely.
Not as much on social media, the whole scroll factor, and I
Yeah.
might learn of an organization as I'm scrolling, but if I need to refer back to it, how do you find a post, right? So
Mhm,
if I want to learn more, I'm going to build trust
mhm.
in on from the website, I
I
think, not
can't
necessarily from social media.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't remember the exact statistic, but more than half of people who engage with a nonprofit organization will first go to their website before doing anything else.
Mm,
Before they pick up the
I believe
phone,
it.
before they call, before they do anything else, they will first go to that organization's website. So if your website doesn't match your brand or doesn't have a strong presence or looks sketchy or looks like it was created in 1992, then that sends a message, actually the wrong message about your organization. And so having a good professional website that is, stable and trustworthy and really exhibits, good branding and stability is critical to engaging both existing donors, but especially new donors.
Yeah, I think nonprofit branding is another hot topic. We have so
Yeah.
many hot topics, in our
Right.
sector with like ways to pay and death giving and
Oh, yes.
integrations and AI. Oh my gosh, I left
I
AI
know.
out. That
Yeah.
I think branding maybe isn't as um innovative or sexy as like AI, but gosh, let's not forget, that brand
Absolutely. And so
consistency is
often
so
it
important.
it underpins so many other things.
It sure does.
Yeah, and it should. I mean, the good branding should be a foundation that you
Yeah.
that you can, really rely on.
You know what I want to get into? Because I know our audience is listening and they're probably like, oh God, should I even open up my website and take a look at it? Because I'm hearing Kiersten and I'm like, oh, so maybe we can help them out with some like key features that every organization should make sure that their website have. But if you could hold that thought, we'll do that right after this commercial message.
Howdy, Raise Radio. This is Kiersten Hill, Director of Nonprofit Solutions at Firespring. We are dusting off our boots, looking forward to speaking and exhibiting at the 2024 Raise Conference. As a full-service marketing company specializing in nonprofits, we know how critical it is to promote your organization and events. Visit firespring.com/raise for a special offer for Raise attendees. That's firespring.com/raise. We look forward to seeing you in Nashville. Yeehaw!
Welcome back to Raise Nation Radio. We are talking to Kiersten Hill from Firespring. She's the director of nonprofit solutions there. And we're really getting into some good conversation just about brand and website and digital footprint. So before our commercial break, I asked Kiersten to think about something. So I hope you have a hot answer for me, Kiersten. Our audience would love to know now that we've kind of, underscore the importance of their brand consistency, their digital footprint, the website, all those marketing things.
Yep.
Can you list out some key features that every nonprofit should be thinking about?
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to your website, I think the number one feature is that you have to be able to update it yourself.
Mm.
So if you are
Like WordPress,
still
right? Learn
right, like
WordPress or something like
WordPress
that. Hmm.
or some other software, as long as it has what is called a content management system that you can access where you can make changes and updates, that's going to be critical because internet and information just in general changes so quickly that we don't have the luxury to make a list of the changes that need to be made, track down our website provider, get them that list of changes. Then you have to wait for them to make those changes. Then you have to go back and make sure that they made those changes correctly. And if they didn't, that process starts all over. It's incredibly inefficient. And it just hampers your ability to work at the pace that you need to be able to work. And so I think every website, first of all, needs a content management system that the nonprofit controls. The second thing you need to have is the ability to take donations on your site and to complete donations and keep people engaged with your website. So that is the gold standard. Ideally, it will allow for recurring donations because recurring monthly donations is one of the fastest growing ways that people give. Is by giving small amounts monthly as opposed to a large amount at one time. And I think it needs to have clear navigation so that everybody can understand what they're looking for. And it needs to have the ability to do event registration so that you can sign people up. 56% of people or 51% of people, I can't remember the exact statistic, but there's a majority of people who say that that's the number one reason why they visit nonprofit organizations' websites is to sign
Huh.
up for events. And
Hmm.
so you got to be able to take event registrations. If you're sending somebody to Eventbrite to complete an event registration, then you're not necessarily getting them back when they're done
They're
registering.
leaving the
Right,
website.
they're leaving the site. And so you want to try and keep them on the site as long as you can. That's always the goal is how can we
Okay.
engage them and how can we keep them here as long as we can.
But let me point out that if we're overwhelming the audience right now, nobody is suggesting that they have to reinvent the wheel and
No,
start coding from the ground
no.
up. There are tools and widgets that integration partners that you can work with so that you can accept the donations,
Absolutely.
ways of
Yes.
paying, event registration. It's not a matter of you have to go out and rebuild all of these things,
Yes,
and they work
absolutely.
very well in an integrated manner.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And I very much love what I call a tech stack, right?
Mm.
So I don't know that you have to have one tool that does everything for you. I mean, I think we've don't we wish we had one tool that was like our CRM and like our donor database and our website and all of these things. But then you get a tool that doesn't ever do everything that you want it to do well. It just sort of does everything, right? And so I think the best thing you can do is find those solutions that work for you and then stack those techs one on top of another. And
Hmm.
when we can do that tech stack, then we're taking advantage of the best tools for us for the market, and really integrating them all together. And so I think that's ideal when you can bring all of those different techs in and stack them.
So take me through, I think it's worth it. Developing your brand, being consistent with your brand, being consistent on, omni-channel, right? Like is so important, but we know that fundraisers are strapped for their resources and they are trying to keep up with so many things. There are events and fundraising and programming and the list goes on. I don't want to make our audience
IT
anxious,
and
so I won't list it all
IT
out.
and payroll and finance reports.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah. I've lived that.
So take me through being a client of Firespring. What does that look like? Is it, can you pick and choose the services? Is it a comprehensive package? like I recognize, yep, I'm hearing Kiersten and Dawn on this podcast. I do need help. It's worth it to get help.
Yeah.
Take me through being a Firespring customer.
It really depends on what service it is that you're looking for because we have, I mean, we recognize that we also have it's kind of like a nonprofit. Like we have a lot of services, and trying to decide what you might need can sometimes feel a little overwhelming. And so it just depends on what service you need. But we do operate like a menu, right? So if you need uh, help printing an annual report, we can help you with that. If you need help with a logo or brand development, we can help with that. If you are looking for a new nonprofit website, our website team kind of operates a whole. We have multiple facets of folks that you could interact with there. So we have people who onboard you, so they teach you how to set everything up. They help you get the site ready to go live. They make sure things are in the right place. If you want to migrate content over from another site, they can do that. If you want to create all new content, they can show you how to do that. And then they teach you how to use the site. And then one of the things I've always loved about Firespring is we have unlimited training and support for our website.
Whoa, unlimited. So if I'm a client of Firespring, I
Mm,
have unlimited training and support.
Unlimited training and support.
Ooh,
So as a nonprofit executive, as a nonprofit leader, I knew that if I had a Firespring website and my admin assistant who did the website updates, if they left and I had to hire someone new, I knew I never had to
bingo.
train them how to use the I never had to train them how to use the website. All I would do is say, "Here is the number for Firespring. Please call and tell them I'll get you
Get
signed up as
yourself
a
up to
user."
speed. I'll talk to you
And then,
tomorrow.
yep, exactly. And then you set up all the trainings. Firespring would take care of training that large piece of their responsibilities that took it off of my plate as a
Yeah.
small
Whew,
organization leader.
huge,
Yeah, yeah,
huge.
huge.
It's a
And so,
big people
yes.
presence behind the product at
Yes.
Firespring.
Yeah, absolutely. And our support team is just they are some of the very best humans. They're just great people. They love
Like you,
helping. Oh,
Kirsten.
thank you. They're wonderful. They love helping people. They love solving problems, and they're really committed to our clients and doing the very best work that they can for our clients. And so, yeah, it really, depends on what you're looking for, but you just give us a call at Firespring and we help you identify what the needs are, and then we point you in the right direction and help you get there. So,
Yeah.
uh, I- you
Wow.
know, so
Well,
many nonprofits can't afford to do, they can't afford a marketing director or whatever it is, and so it's a great way to outsource some of those things.
yeah, I think we're learning that in the space, right? Like delegate, outsource, surround yourself with good people, good providers, trusted providers, and Firespring's definitely one of them. So,
Thank
and you speak a lot for the company, right? You're definitely the
you.
face of Firespring, I feel. We had a webinar with you, which if to the audience that's listening, great webinar. Just put it in the search bar or go to the resource tab at onecause.com, all about storytelling and being effective in that storytelling approach. So we have this podcast, we have that webinar, but you're speaking at Raise in a couple of months in Nashville. Kiersten, I'm so
I know.
excited.
I am so excited. Yes, this is so great for us. I mean, we're excited to be able to partner with One Cause in this way. And I'm actually a former One Cause client too. And actually I'm
Oh,
still a current One Cause client. So I had used One Cause when I was at the zoo. We ran our fundraising event using One Cause for donation software for our auction. And we do the same. My church right now, I was actually sent a ticket to support the other day because I couldn't remember how to do something. And so, yeah, I mean, I love One Cause. I love the products. And so we're so
it's a
excited to
great
be able,
partnership.
it's such a
Yeah.
great partnership. We're excited to be able to come to conference and the education. I think, our two companies align so well just in terms of like one of our mottos is education without expectation. And
Education without expectation. Oh, yes, we are so
right?
aligned there.
Right,
Good,
and so
good.
yeah, I feel like, it's just such a great partnership, and we are so looking forward to coming and meeting all of your awesome Raise community and, being a part of the conference this year. We're just really, really excited, and, who doesn't love Nashville? So,
Yeah. Oh my
that too.
gosh. I'm gonna be right next to you in the line dancing thing, you and
Perfect,
I,
perfect.
right?
Yep. I'm
And Chessa, is
packing my,
Chessa
yes,
coming?
yes, Chessa's coming.
And let's give a shout out to Chessa. What does Chessa do for Firespring? She's so lovely and fun.
Yes, Chess is our partnerships manager, and she's the one who manages partnerships with other companies and then like state nonprofit associations, our habitat partnerships, Habitat for Humanity partnerships, and CASA partnerships across the country. Chessa manages all those relationships, and she also keeps me in line, which is yeah, it's sort of a mutual. It's sort of a mutual keep each other in line. But she's
I
my
can't
partner in
wait.
crime, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. So for our audience who's attending Raise, if you see, a trio there, Chessa, Kiersten, and Dawn,
Dawn.
just ignore us, right? Let us just
Or
do our
join in.
thing.
Yeah, join in. It's gonna be
Yeah, or
fun.
join in. That's
It's gonna
right.
be a good time.
So what are you speaking about there, Raise? Because it is not easy to be a Raise speaker. So your
Really?
topic has got to be pretty exceptional. We get, I don't even know, 5 times the number of submissions that we are able to accept because it's only a 2-day conference. I mean,
I
we
know,
can't
yes.
keep people there 5 days, and we could with the amount of submissions that we get, but we really try to make it relevant and educational without expectation. All the courses are accredited with CFRAs, so you
Yes.
could max
Which is,
out your CFRA credits. But what are you speaking about?
you know what? This is embarrassing. I have to look it up.
Uh-oh.
I know. Isn't that
Well, you know
awful? I
why? I
am
don't think it's
so
awful
embarrassed.
because I know your schedule and I know how busy you are and how much you speak and the diverse topics that you can speak about. But that's okay. We can put it into
So
the show notes.
please put it into the show notes.
I will.
I can't remember if it's trends. I can't remember if it's nonprofit trends or what. I think it might be
I think it just
nonprofit.
goes to how much you can speak about. You're such a
I
thought leader, and there's I mean, we had you on the webinar about storytelling, right? And I
Yes.
think I remember speaking to you and Chessa when you were thinking about applying for Raise. I'm like, we get a lot of storytelling, right? So,
I know. And
yeah,
so that's why I don't think it's storytelling. I honestly,
we'll get it in the show
yeah, let's
notes.
get it in the show notes. Like I say, I think it might be nonprofit trends, but whatever it is, we're always putting out new content. I have about I want to say like 30 or 40 different topics
How
that
do you
we
keep them
speak about.
straight?
I'm really fortunate. I've got a great group of folks at Firespring who help to develop slide decks and that kind of thing. And because I have the lived experience, I think that makes it a huge difference. I really am able to apply my background either as a director of development doing fundraising or as a person doing marketing or as a executive leader working with boards and those sorts of things. And so often I think it's that lived experience that I bring to each different topic that helps me keep it all straight. But whatever that topic is, I'm just
It is
thrilled. And
trends. I
is
looked
it
it up.
trends? Oh, thank
Yes,
you. Oh, you
marketing
saved
trends.
me.
Yep,
You
marketing
saved
trends
me.
nonprofits need to know and embrace.
Yes,
So that's
yes.
on September 9th. Oh, it's an early one, 8:30 a.m., but we got to get started early
Oh yeah.
because, we have
So
to
much to
pack in
get
as
in.
many sessions
Yeah,
as we possibly can.
yeah.
So
It'll be
more
good.
from Kiersten on
I'll be
September
ready to
8th.
go. Yeah. And
Trends.
actually we have a trends deck, but I will be going in and adding to that before we even get to September. So we're gonna add some more about AI and some
Oh,
other,
that's a
really,
topic and a half.
yeah, really cutting edge things that people, and I always make things approachable. So I'll give
And
you a
actionable, I feel
yes,
like you do.
exactly. Yeah.
Approachable and actionable.
Yeah.
You
And
don't walk
so
away from a conversation with Kirsten without saying, okay, I can roll up my sleeves and do
yeah,
this.
yeah. Here are a few things that I can do when I go back home and really move the needle. So
Yeah. Now
I'm
you're
excited.
also a sponsor at
We are.
Raise this year. You've helped this conference come to
Yes.
fruition by coming in as a trendsetter sponsor. So
Yep.
we can also talk to you there and talk to the team there and get more
Absolutely. And
information. What do
yep.
you
And
got
I
going on at Firespring booth at
yes,
Raise?
I am pretty sure we are going to be offering some website audits.
I heard that's
Yes.
Amazing. Can I put the
Yes.
link to the website audit in the show notes? Would you
Yep.
mind?
No, I don't mind at all. I think it's firespring.com/raise.
Okay.
So
Okay.
super
Tell us
easy,
about the
but please.
audit. What a
Yeah,
fabulous idea. And it's free, right?
it's free. Yeah, absolutely. It's free. So you'll go on and submit some information about your website. Just tell us a little bit about it.
Okay.
And we'll go out and take a look at your website. Our team of website experts at Firespring will go out and take a look, and we'll make some recommendations for you
You're going to
on.
follow up and make
Yeah,
recommendations for free?
we're gonna make recommendations for free. I think it's about a 15 or 20-minute follow-up consult, and we'll tell you what we
No
found
way.
and make recommendations for you on how you can improve what
Yeah.
you're
I
doing on your
mean,
website.
to the audience that's listening, you've got to do that, right? I mean, Firespring has that commitment about education without expectations and a free website. I mean, that can make the difference in thousands of dollars of donations, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
So, oh my gosh, you've got to come to Raise, hear Kirsten's marketing trends session, and then visit them at their booth. Get that website audit. If you don't do anything else at Raise, you want to do that. So that's pretty special.
yes,
Well, what are you
yes.
doing this summer, Kirsten, before we close out?
Oh my
Before I
gosh.
see you in September,
You
what's going on
know,
with you in the summer?
we've got conferences next month, so I'm actually going to Nashville next month. So I'll scope all the fun
Ooh,
places
okay.
so
I want
that
a
we can
list.
be ready when we get down there in September. So we go to Nashville and Texas next month to talk with
Wow.
Habitat for Humanity organizations, and then I think I've got another conference in August. So I'm doing a lot of conference travel, and we'll probably try and fit in a week or so with my husband and my teenager somewhere, in there for a little
Oh, you have a
vacation. And
teenager.
I
Oh,
do 16. Yeah,
16.
16. He'll be a high school junior.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks. He's
College,
pretty.
is the whole
He's pretty good
college
too.
becoming a thing now?
Yes, it is. We are starting. He was at leadership camp last week,
Oh,
and
nice.
so we're starting to now
Not
really,
surprised.
really get
Egg doesn't,
serious.
what is that? They don't fall far from
It
the
doesn't
tree.
fall.
What is
Yeah,
that thing?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Something like apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Apple.
Something
I
like
said
that.
egg.
Apple, egg.
When was the last time you saw eggs on trees? Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Oh my gosh. I
Oh,
need more
that's funny.
coffee.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, no. So I'll probably try and do something like that this summer. And then just yeah, gonna do a
Well, I
little
don't want to
speaking
rush
and a little
time, but
work.
I really can't wait to see you at Raise in
I know,
September and
same.
hear
We're
more
thrilled.
about, Firespring and all the great stuff. It's such a valuable resource for the nonprofit community. Everybody should know Firespring in some capacity, right?
Thank you
They're
so
there to
much.
help,
Yes.
and
Oh yeah.
really, really excited about that. By the way, the college. Oof, I have a rising senior at Boston
Mm.
College, and I remember going through that college experience. It was every night in my house between essays and applications and virtual tours and ay, ay, ay.
And
You're
we're
starting on that journey. Have fun.
ACT prep and yeah,
Oh, there you
all
go.
the things. Yeah,
Yeah,
all the things.
all the things. Good luck
Mhm.
with that. Well, fearless
Thanks.
fundraisers, that's about all we have time for today. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's Raise Nation topic and your daily dose of fundraising inspiration. Please tune in for a new episode release every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. That's Thursdays, 12:30 p.m. for all the new releases. But in the meantime, please follow us. And pretty much on any podcast channel that you love, you can find Raise Nation Radio. So no excuses. You can get all the notifications about our new guests. And if you're a fundraiser, please join us on the show. Just reach out at hello@onecause.com. We would love to feature your story and your mission. And please don't hesitate. I would very much, not surprisingly here, like to thank our sponsor, Firespring, for making this episode possible. Firespring works every day to create websites along with other tools and resources that make nonprofit marketing and fundraising easier and more effective. How does that sound? You want to give them a call? Be sure to check it out, firespring.com/raise. And as we spoke about a little bit earlier, there's a free audit for your nonprofit website. So whether you're coming to Raise or not, we're going to have this in the show notes, and you'll be able to take advantage of that free tool and free audit. A huge shout out and thanks to my friend, my guest, Kiersten Hill from Firespring, for just sharing some authentic conversation about websites and digital footprints and nonprofit marketing. That's just so important for our sector. Kiersten, it was great connecting with you today. Can't wait to see you in September. I so enjoyed our conversation, but I do have to ask, because all of our guests add to the Raise Nation Radio inspiration. Any last words for inspiration for our audience?
Yeah. So I think my favorite quote that I use so often is a quote from Maya Angelou. And it
Oh
is,
no, I know where you're
yep,
going with
it
this.
is
Yep, I love the,
we
go
do the
ahead.
best that we can until we know better. And then when we know better, we do better. And I think that, that's all we can do. When it comes to marketing or mission work or whatever it is, we do the best that we can. And then as we learn new things, we start to implement those and we just keep doing the best that we can. And I think that that is such a hopeful quote to me about how we can all constantly improve and get better and not beat ourselves up over it. So
Yeah.
just my favorite.
That's a great way to end this show. I'm a quote enthusiast and
Me
I
too.
love anything from Maya Angelou. So that's a perfect one. Thank you, Kiersten. Have a wonderful summer. And I hope you do get some time with family and your teenager son and
Yeah.
prep for Raise and all of the line dancing that's going to take place
I'm
there.
gonna have to, practice up. I'm so looking forward to it. I can't wait to see everybody in Nashville in September.
Yeah, well, we're going to follow you and follow Firespring and bring you back for another hot topic because we know
Sounds
you
good.
got
Let's do
30 or
it.
40 of them.
I love it. Sounds good. Please do. I love it.
Well, thank you again so much. That is a wrap. Until next time, I'm Dawn Lego. This is Raise Nation Radio. You stay fearless out there.